Hello everyone, my name is Colin and you are watching ClassyHerps. Alright, so I talk a lot about snakes, especially ball pythons on my show, because that's kind of my main thing, but today I'm going to talk about lizards. Alright, first off, something that I need to get across. Since I've got my Tegus, I've had a ton of people leave comments saying that they want to get a Tegus now because of how awesome he is. Guys, I cannot stress enough that these guys are not for everyone. So, give me an example of how much time these Tegus lizards take to care for, and I'm not talking about just feeding and watering care for, because that doesn't take that much longer than any other lizard. But Tegus are different. If you want to tame Tegus like any big Tegus you see, an adult one that's nice and tame and just like a puppy dog, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. You see, he's kind of turning around here looking at me. My guy, he is not very tame. In this cage, he's pretty cage aggressive. And when I got him, he would bite at me, he would run away from me as quick as he could, and he would never, ever even want to, he had nothing to want to do with me. The reason for that, guys, is you gotta remember that in the wild, the only time a big animal is going to mess with a little animal is when that big animal is going to try to eat that little animal. He's a little animal, he knows that. Humans are obviously bigger than him, a lot bigger than him, and so his instincts are telling him that we're going to try to eat him. Obviously we're not, I hope, and we just have to get it through his head that we're not here to hurt him. And that's the hard part about taming. That's the whole thing of taming. So basically, for the last 3 weeks since I've had him, I've spent an hour or more with my hand in his cage every day. An hour a day with my hand in his cage, and you have to be so patient with these guys. Like the first week, all it was I left my hand on his basking rock, and he went over to the other side of the cage and watched me. He kind of huffed and hissed, and by second week, he was coming over and kind of sitting like down here and watching me. And then this week, we made some serious progress. He actually came up onto the rocks, and at the beginning of the week, I actually got to touch him for the first time in his cage. And so I touched him, and that was a huge accomplishment. And then things got better really fast after that. And throughout the week, I got to move my hand slowly further under his body. And he's looking at me here like he wants food or something. But yeah, so he's looking at me, and eventually I finally got to where he was comfortable with my hand. He was pretty much laying on my hand. And so yesterday was a huge accomplishment for me, guys. I actually lifted him up out of his cage, and I got out of his cage. Now you guys are like, whoa, the first few videos I saw you were holding him, and yeah, guys, I made a huge mistake of actually just picking him up in his cage. I regret it so much. We lost so much trust doing that, because I picked him up out of his cage like 3 times just for the videos. He stressed him out so much, and I regret doing that so much, guys. Never grab your Tegus out of his cage. Never ever grab anything out of its cage if it's seriously distressed like that, especially Tegus, because the Tegus will remember the fight. They will remember it. So don't ever do that. We lost a lot of trust, and now I'm slowly gaining it again, and that's a lot of work. Alright, so that's enough talk about Tegus. Here is my Leopard Geckos. Everyone is wanting to see the Leopard Geckos. Everyone loves the Leopard Geckos. They're such popular animals. They're nothing like a Tegus. They're pretty much naturally just super tame. This is my male Elvis. He's very pretty. So, yep, everyone likes Elvis, I think. He's an amazing little guy. He's so pretty. Leopard geckos are awesome. Always start off with a leopard gecko or something like that if you're wanting to get into lizard, because they're just the coolest little things ever. All they eat is just crickets, and you can just hold them as much as you want, and they don't really care. So, yeah, leopard geckos are awesome. Alright, and then one of my female leopard geckos back here is a little more spastic. She's back behind here. I'll get her out. She's a blizzard leopard gecko. Yep. Oh, jeez. Jumped off my hand. Yep, her name's Flo. So I'm gonna let her be because she's kind of spazzy. Another thing about lizards And the difference between a lizard and a snake, snakes are cool, but they don't really have much of a personality. You can argue with me about that what you want, but I have 2 years of hands-on experience with this, and I've kind of learned snakes don't have much of a personality. Yes, they have some like to hiss, some like to bite more, some eat more, that kind of thing. But lizards lizards have a whole personality. They take a whole new level. They especially tegus. They're like a person. They have their good days, they have their bad days. They have so much of a personality. It's really weird how much alike we are. And you just really get to know them. Lizards, if you want something that you can get to know, like a dog or a cat, get a lizard. If you want something that is just there, get a snake. Even though they're still really cool, you can hold them, they're really cool, but if you want something with a real personality, get a lizard. Alright, now another great starter lizard are crested geckos. Here's one of mine, right here. They aren't quite as nice, naturally tame as leopard geckos, but you can obviously tame them down. She bites me a lot, so I'm kinda... They don't have teeth, neither do leopard geckos, so it doesn't hurt if you ever do get bit, but they're actually pretty nice lizards once you get them tamed down. I'm not gonna pick her up because it's a big fight and she is super crazy. Yep, she is a yellow Dalmatian crested gecko, not a total adult yet, but she's growing quickly. They are, whoa, yeah. So you can see that she's so crazy. But obviously you can tame them down. So wow, she's just everywhere. Okay, so. Yeah, crested geckos like to jump, obviously, but how you feed them is super easy. You can buy these big sacks of Herps crested gecko diet, or if you just have one, you can just get a little jar. And basically, it's just a little powder, and you see in here, it smells really fruity like bananas, and then you just mix it with water, and I just use these little cups here, and you cut the bottoms off, and then you put it in the cage just like that. That needs to be changed, and then they'll just eat it like that. They can also eat crickets just like leopard geckos, but the crested gecko powder diet is a lot healthier for them, so do that. And also, leopard geckos need 90-degree temperatures, so you do need a heat mat on them most likely. And the good thing about crested geckos is they don't actually need heat as long as your room is about 70 degrees, because they need to be kept at about 70 degrees. So as long as your room, most people's room temperature is about that, and anywhere close to that is probably good, unless it's somewhere way off. But yeah, they can just be kept at room temperature, no heating pads, nothing. They're also nocturnal, so are leopard geckos, so they don't need any UVB. This is just for the plants. And the good thing about crested geckos is you can give them a big, nice cage like this, because they are arboreal. Leopard geckos are terrestrial, so the crested geckos like to climb around like this. Leopard geckos stay on the ground. That's the only kind of a bad thing almost to crested geckos, but it really depends on what you like. So crested geckos need some space to climb, leopard geckos really don't. So that's just really different. Those are the best two things you'd go with. The next level up would be a bearded dragon, and they're a little more care than either a crested gecko or a leopard gecko, but they're also pretty simple. Here's a little example of how simple crested gecko's cages can really be. Here's another one. This one's a little baby. It's right here. My camera would focus. But yeah, this is a little baby crested gecko. So that's what they look like. But this is what you can keep them in, just this little plastic tub here. You don't need the plants, it gives them something to climb around in, so it's really nice to have those. Makes them feel a lot more secure. Just some fake plants, paper towel on the bottom, and mist them down. And then you can just set these on your nightstand or on the floor in your room, or, you know, really wherever you want to put them, because anywhere at 70 degrees they will live, and they're nocturnal, so you won't see them. So they're really nice geckos. Alright, now just a few more notes. Next week I might be going to another reptile expo, a different one actually this time. I've never been to any other reptile expo besides the one I just went to. So it should be really interesting to go see a new one that I've never been to. And if I do, it's on a Sunday, so obviously the video might be a little late if I film anything there. Or if I get anything, I might be getting something, I might not. I really don't know yet. But if I do, I obviously won't be able to post it because it's on Sunday, so the video might be a little bit late on that day. So just be ready for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video on just kind of general lizards, which some starter lizards, that's kind of what I was aiming at. Crested geckos and leopard geckos are really good, and bearded dragons are also really good too if you don't want a snake. So those are some really cool reptiles to look into if you guys ever wanted to. And also last week I asked you guys which animal you guys thought lost its color the most as it became an adult? And the answers were pretty much overwhelmingly savanna monitors. I don't have a savanna monitor, but apparently they really lose their colors as babies, as you can see from these comments here. So that was kind of interesting to me. I did not know that. It really actually kind of surprised me. So that was kind of cool. Alright, and there was also another comment someone pointed out something really interesting to me that I didn't really think about until they said it. But green tree pythons lose their color, not really in a bad way, but they definitely change colors from babies to adults. There's also another example someone mentioned. I don't remember exactly what the species of snake was, but it changes colors. Green tree pythons definitely change colors from babies to adults, but not really in a bad way. They're both pretty. This week I'm going to ask you guys, because I talked about lizards, which lizard do you guys think is the best starter lizard for someone who's just getting into reptiles and wants to get something cool like a lizard? So which animal is the best starter lizard you could possibly get? Leave your comments below and I will probably feature you in next week's episode. Alright, so I'll see you guys next week, and until then, you have been watching Classy Herps.